almost insultingly easy. Formidable though we undoubtedly are, they were obviously sent to provide encouragement for budding heroes.
If Elidibus is the heart of Zodiark, why does Zodiark stay alive when we defeat Elidibus? Formidable though we undoubtedly are, they were obviously sent to provide encouragement for budding heroes. One cannot help but wonder how many times the ploy has been used before.
Master Chai, you mentioned that the people of Calusia are similarly enamored of the Warrior of Light.
Similarly enamored of the Warrior of Light.
Indeed, though it's hardly surprising given the state of the world.
Many are still struggling to find a purpose.
And it's only natural that they should take comfort in the tales.
Then the fever has spread to every corner of Northrend.
Oh dear. They've got a Pokemon situation.
His black masked minions, but it is plain Elidibus has yet to show his hand.
Manipulate the people.
Oh my!
Manipulate everything.
What a spectacular sky!
Oh, here we are again. Another starstorm. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Alice. Exactly. Exactly.
Wait, is that
Amarot? What the hell is Amarot doing there? I am so confused. Oh no, now they have Echo. No, this is bad.
Did you hear that? That voice calling out.
No, I didn't hear anything, but... Why do I feel so... like I've lost something dear to me? Does Elidibus seem to awaken more people to the echo with clearer visions of the final days?
Huh.
And who might you be?
whoever they are? They come for our heads. No, you don't. They are not of flesh and blood.
I know this magic. The rings are like unto those that the Exarch did employ in our summoning.
Are you saying the Exarch is summoning them?
Nay, yet the similarity can be no mere coincidence.
There you go, Rin. Get some. You go, girl.
Should we make a stand here? Or retreat to the Crystarium?
ether churns around us. More of them will appear ere long. To stay would only place innocents in harm's way. We must fight this battle elsewhere.
Wait! Take one of our airships. You can decide what to do on your flight to the Crystarium.
What? Do you really need an airship?
You are a capable leader in your own right, Master Chai. The citizens of Yulmore chose well.
It's settled then.
To the airship.
Why the hell do they need an airship? Just teleport. What the fuck? What the fuck? Just teleport, man. The hero's gauntlet. Nani? Nani kore? Nani kore desu ka? Nani kore nani? Kore nani desu ka? Kore wa nani desu ka? Kore wa nani desu ka? The hero's gauntlet. While yet another star shower manifests over Norbrand, the warriors of darkness find themselves under attack from mysterious spectral foes, who by all appearances are being summoned forth with the selfsame magic the Crystal Exarch employs, a magic that should lie beyond even the Ascian's kin. Seeking to take the battle away from innocent civilians, the heroes have flee to Yulmore in an airship, setting course for the Crystarium. So the dungeon takes place on the airship? I certainly have no memory of that, but we'll see. Let's see, there's some way for me to fix that up. Got Q after Q after Q today. Got the raids to do as well. That works. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. Okay, so how am I gonna get this queue? I just gotta wait, right? I just gotta wait. Just gotta wait. What to do while in queue? I do not know. I do not know what to do while in queue. It is a mystery to me. A mystery. Surely there's something I can do while I'm in queue. Surely there's something. Right? Surely. Whew! Alright, I've got my thing that I want to do. Alright. Level 98 priest. Just living my life. Living my life. Ragnarok is such a great game, dude. Ragnarok is a fucking fantastic video game. It's one of the best MMOs ever made, if not the best MMO ever made. Final Fantasy XIV is up there too, but Ragnarok Online is a very, very special game. Very special. It's not without its flaws. The quests are terrible. Like, I could not imagine anything worse in existence than a Ragnarok quest. But the combat's so good. The element system, the combat, the card system, the stat system, the skill system, the class system. It's all so good. The guild versus guild, the player versus player, the boss monsters. It has so much going for it. So much going for it. All sorts of ways to enjoy the game too. It's a shame I didn't keep playing Albion any. Albion's alright. The thing about Albion that I don't like is that it doesn't have a lot of players. And it's kind of super niche. So it's like, yeah, great game, but it has problems. Okay, the number one problem with Albion is that 99% of people don't play it properly. Like, most people treat it like it's a casual game for doing PvE, and it's definitely supposed to be a PvP game. And you can't, no matter what you do, you can't convince 99% of players to do PvP because everybody hates losing. They all hate losing so much that they'll never be any good at PvP. Like, they really, people in general really can't handle a game being difficult for them. So, because of that, I don't think the game's ever going to reach its full potential. Like, it's not going to reach the point where you have like 20 to 100 different guilds all doing zone versus zone or Zerg versus Zerg. Like, 99% of guilds never even touch ZVZ. And that's such a shame. That's such a terrible shame to me. Because, like, ZVZ is the whole point of playing an MMO, man. Guild versus guild is the whole point of playing an MMO in the first place. The whole point of playing a game that other players can connect to is to either play with those people or against those people. And Albion hits the spot because it is able to, you know, it has the capacity for these large battles, but nobody is interested in doing the large battles because they're all like, it costs too much, I don't want to lose my gear. People had that same problem with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They were like, why my items break? I worked real hard for it. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, weapons and armor as consumables in a game are absolutely like top tier design, like genius design to have consumable gear. Because the opposite of that, where you have permanent gear, means the moment you get that piece of equipment permanently, guess what? You have no other reason to play the game anymore because you just got what you wanted. And you're probably never even gonna like use that item for anything else. Like, that's what Final Fantasy XIV has a problem with. Like, 14 has this big problem where you have these like hardcore elite challenges, and then you get this hardcore special gear for clearing the content, and then there's nothing to do with that gear when you're done. It's like, oh yeah, congratulations, you got the ultimate crystal weapon, and now what? It's like What do you do with that item now? Clear it again? I don't know, like try to get a world record? Like that, those are your options. Because there's nothing else to do with that item once you've gotten it. And when you have it to a situation where, hey, you know, you might beat this ultimate raid boss one time and, you know, get super lucky or just be like barely good enough to clear it, and then you get your item. But if you don't keep it permanently, that incentivizes you to go back and clear the content again, or to go back and optimize and maximize your efficiency with that content. So like you're really incentivized to keep playing the game if your items aren't permanent. And like I think people don't understand how much of a driving factor that can be for a game's success, where like, you know, I don't think gear should be permanent. I think it should wear down and break and stuff. Because not only does it make it to where you're incentivized to obtain multiple copies of that gear, but you're also incentivized to use weaker equipment, and weaker equipment gains its value because if you're using weaker equipment, you're not risking as much of a loss. So I like games where weaker equipment is actually good. I like games where weaker equipment is good. Like Ragnarok has that same problem too. Like once you've got the max level equipment or whatever, there's no more reason to play Ragnarok anymore. Once you've geared out your character, which is a Herculean task to be fair, once you have actually geared it out, it is very difficult. But once you've done it, you're done. And you never have to touch that character or that location or that monster again. So what you really want to see is, if not consumable items, then consumable states of play. Like, for example, I had this idea a long time ago about having an item that's very difficult to get, and you get the item, and instead of having it permanently, what you could do is obtain multiple copies of that item and fuse them together for a temporary buff. So let's say you have a, I don't know, a legendary sword, and its base power, it's very good. It's a very good item. It's max level gear, whatever. And then you go get another legendary sword, and what you can do is you can combine the two legendary swords together to make a stronger legendary sword for 1 week. And after the week, it goes back to being a regular legendary sword, still good but not perfect. And that means you gotta go and get another legendary sword next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that. What do you call it? To get the bonus from fusing the swords together. And I think that is like the ultimate strategy, insofar as I can tell. Like, based on my player experience, that's what I think should happen. And I think that should happen in like any game, in any context. Like, there's no reason for equipment to be at their maximum power as soon as you get them, and permanently. Because all that does is kill your game. It just kills the game. So the other thing is, like, I'm thinking back to Final Fantasy XIV and their problems. The other thing is, once you have the item, there needs to be something that you can only do with that item. Like, there has to be some sort of content that is only possible to do if you have a specific item or a specific build or a specific like configuration for your character such that all other players cannot do it but you can because you have item X, right? If that legendary sword unlocks some sort of ability that enabled you to, I don't know, kill monsters on a certain map, suddenly that item becomes like a lot more valuable rather than just having it as a trophy that sits in your inventory and collects dust and does nothing. And I feel really strongly about this, and I will like die on this hill that one of the things that Ragnarok does correctly is it enables you to do very special things with its items. The best example I can think of in Ragnarok Online is the Ice Pick. Like, Ice Pick allows you to kill sleepers, it allows you to kill Ice Titans, it allows you to kill a lot of boss monsters. Beelzebub requires an Ice Pick, but you get my point, right? It's one item that gives one special effect in the game, and because of that one item, it unlocks different forms of content based on whether or not you have that item or that build. And that is so healthy. That is so healthy for a game. That is so healthy for a game. The other thing about like item fusion, let's call it, or item charging is what I'll call it, because that's what I would call it in my game. The thing about charging your items with additional copies of that item is it introduces a social dynamic of, well, hey, we just got this new legendary sword. Are we gonna give it to the guy who already has a legendary sword so he can charge his weapon and improve his performance? Or are we gonna give it to the new player who doesn't have a legendary sword yet and also is going to need additional legendary swords to charge their legendary sword? So there's like an interesting choice that you're making within your community as to whether or not you keep that legendary sword or you consume it to make another one of your players stronger. And that is like, oh my god, that's so good for your game. That is so good for your game. I mean, yeah, it might invite drama and stuff, but to me, I think of that as healthy drama. Because what happens is people put in the time and energy and then they start to care because they put in the time and energy. And like, regardless of what effects it has on the individual, the game benefits a lot from people caring about it. You know? Like, if nobody wants to play a dead game, right? Nobody wants to play a dead game. That's why I'm not playing Albion, because I think it's like, it's got so much room for improvement, and to me it's just like a half-baked game. So what you really want to see is people who care about your ecosystem, And what better way to care about an ecosystem than to have a constantly regenerating objective that constantly needs high levels of commitment, high levels of coordination, high levels of planning, and so on and so forth. And then a meaningful choice to make as to where to distribute your resources. So yeah, I should just make this like a video called My Thoughts on Game Design. Hoo-wee! I think a lot of people do games wrong. And it's really sad because people pour their time and energy into trying to make the best game that they can, but it's like they're blind to what makes a good game in the first place, because the thing that they're basing all of their games off of is World of Warcraft, and I will never, ever, ever concede that World of Warcraft is actually a good game. I think it was popular and it was viral for a time, but it was never a good game. Not even in vanilla, not even in whatever expansion. It was never a good game. But my standards are particularly unrealistic. Like my idea of a good game is like Breath of the Wild. Like if you're not at least at Breath of the Wild, then you've still got something to learn from Breath of the Wild. Ocarina of Time is up there. Majora's Mask is up there. Ragnarok Online. Maybe Maple Story. I've never played Maple Story, but I hear good things. Good games. I don't know. League of Legends, maybe. On a good day, League of Legends is an excellent game. Like, on a good day, League of Legends is the game that, I don't know. Everybody should try to learn something from League. Everybody. I was just thinking about my dad yesterday. I was watching a League match, and my dad looked at my phone, and it was trying to figure out what was going on in the game. I was like, well, I'm not really watching the game. If I had known he had any interest at all, then maybe I would have sat down with him and watched some more games. But it was just very interesting that he took a peek into my life. Doesn't often happen. %52%. Oh, this queue is tearing me apart, dude. This queue is no good. I am alive. Keep YouTube on.
You know what motivation really is? It's someone else's agenda dressed up as your energy. Let's start with the obvious bullshit. Every single time you need to get motivated, you're essentially admitting that you don't want to do the thing. You're looking for someone else to convince you that you should care about something you clearly don't give a shit about. When was the last time you needed motivation to eat pizza? To watch a show you actually like? To text someone you're attracted to? Never. Because when you genuinely want something, motivation isn't even in the equation. You just do it. But somehow, we've been convinced that this external manipulation is normal, that it's healthy, that it's necessary for success. Here's what actually happens when you consume motivational content. You watch some guru scream at you about hustling, you feel pumped for about 6 hours, maybe you clean your room or write 3 sentences. Then you crash harder than crypto in 2022. So what do? You go back for another hit, another guru, another framework for unleashing your potential. This is addiction psychology 101. Create the problem, then sell the solution. Make people feel inadequate about their natural state, then offer them a temporary high that requires constant replenishment. The motivation industry has convinced you that your default setting is wrong, that not wanting to grind 16 hours a day means you're lazy, that feeling exhausted by meaningless work means you lack discipline, that questioning whether you actually want what society tells you to want means you need better motivation. Your resistance isn't laziness. What if your body and mind refusing to get excited about soul-crushing bullshit is actually your internal wisdom trying to save you from wasting your life? You want something real, not a carrot hanging on a string making an ass out of you. Let me tell you what real energy looks like. It's 3 a.m. and you're still working on something because you can't put it down. It's talking about an idea so passionately that people think you're slightly unhinged. It's the feeling of flow where time disappears because you're exactly where you're supposed to be. That's not motivation. That's resonance. What happens when your actions match your actual values instead of your program's directives. The difference is fundamental. Motivation asks, how can I make myself want this? Resonance asks, what do I actually want? One turns you into a trained animal performing tricks for treats. The other lets you be a human being pursuing what matters to you. But the system doesn't want you to find your resonance. It wants you to be motivated. Because motivated people are predictable. They follow programs. They buy courses. They work jobs they hate to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like. Resonant people are dangerous. They might quit. They might create something new. They might refuse to play the game entirely. They might make bold and dangerous YouTube channels that call out the whole system. So the system floods you with motivational content. Instagram accounts telling you to rise and grind, podcasts about optimizing your mindset, books about developing unstoppable discipline. This is yet another filthy word that deserves a whole separate video, by the way. All designed to keep you chasing external validation instead of developing internal clarity. People who actually create things aren't motivated to do them. They're obsessed with them. Obsession doesn't require motivation. It requires the exact opposite. It requires not being able to stop. Notice how this system treats obsession. People even laugh at it. They shame you for not having a balanced schedule, for being too intense, for not switching off. Obsession is ridiculed, pathologized, and treated as something unhealthy. When you burn your life on a job you hate, sticking to schedules and KPIs, that's called discipline. When you can't stop working on something that actually matters to you, that's called a problem. But obsession with the right thing only comes from knowing what the right thing is for you. And you can't know that if you're constantly drowning out your inner voice with external cheerleading. If nothing energizes you, if everything feels dead and mechanical, the problem isn't your motivation level. The problem is that you're living someone else's life, wearing someone else's goals like an ill-fitting costume.
Is that the whole video? Oh shit, it was the whole video. Damn!
Hello everyone! I have almost 300,000 YouTube subscribers, which means that my opinion on gaming matters more than yours, but not as much as Asmongold's. It's 2025. The video game industry is being sucked into a supermassive black hole from which there might be no hope of return. Who is left to save us? The year is 2013. The PlayStation 4 has just released. With launch titles like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Killzone Shadowfall, and Knack, the future of gaming couldn't be brighter, with more people playing games than ever before. Unfortunately, a great evil had been brewing behind the scenes for years at this point. The downfall of the games industry was set in motion far sooner than you may have thought. The year is 2010. Assassin's Creed 2 has released to critical acclaim. Ezio is simply too cool. What was originally an exciting sequel to a growing IP from Ubisoft would become patient zero for a cancer spreading across the games industry known as Always-On DRM. Always-On DRM is an anti-piracy measure that requires the player to have a persistent connection to a server, even if it's a single-player game like Assassin's Creed 2. This means that if you have purchased a game with Always-On DRM, if you have no internet, you can't connect to their server, and you can't play the game. Thankfully, you can generally control if you have an internet connection or not, aside from ISP outages in your area, so who cares? Well, remember that your internet connection is only half the equation. It's the server you connect to that completes the handshake, so no server also means...
Okay, fine. The real reason I am broke right now, it's September 1st. Hey guys, if you want to invest in me continuing doing this, please consider subscribing to the channel and doing memberships. Invest in this brand. Because everyone keeps telling me to get a job, and you know what? No! This is my job! And clearly I haven't been doing it correctly. But the answer is not to get another job. I love my job. Shut up, you people. The answer is, okay, so literally something I'm doing on the internet's not working. Or like that. Where? I don't know, I've been trying to figure it out. And the real reason that I'm broke is because I used to be an e-girl, and then that was bringing in money, and now that I'm innocent again, as I actually am, money is not flowing in. See, I shifted so I could get money, and then I was like, this is impacting people very badly, so I'm gonna stop. In fact, it's impacting me very badly, so I'm gonna stop. But anyways, can confirm, SDX sells. Do we like that? No! Come on, guys. We need innocence. Innocence. We need innocence. We need it. So if you want to support innocent entertainment, innocent 24/7 channel live broadcasting, I'm willing to do that because Ffxiv is just a storytelling conduit. In order to help you. And if you, the people, want to keep this public show running, please just watch this video over and over again. Actually, that's all you have to do.
Welcome to the Tech Field Day podcast, where each episode we bring together a group of IT experts in the field of enterprise IT to discuss a variety of specific topics, premises, if you will, on a variety of technical subjects. This podcast is in association with the Tech Field Day event series, which is a part of the Future Room group, and it includes delegates from the Tech Field Day event series. This episode is being recorded during Networking Field Day 35. Before we jump into the premise for the episode, I'd like to have our guests introduce themselves, starting with Andy.
Hey, I am Andy Lepteff, career network engineer and host and co-creator of the Art of Network Engineering podcast.
Hey, I'm Richard Luce. I'm the architect of networking and other things for a children's research hospital.
And I'm Tom Hollingsworth, a former network engineer who is now an event lead for the Tech Field Day event series specializing in networking, security, and wireless. Now that the introductions are out of the way, let's jump into the premise for this episode. If you're watching this podcast, you probably heard about us regarding an episode that we recorded earlier this year called No One Wants to Be a Network Engineer Anymore. By far the #1 podcast on our channel. And these two gentlemen have something they'd like to say about it. And I figured I'd jump in because I have a lot to say about it too.
Oh no, it's coming back.
Let's kick this off, of course, by making a very pointed title, that network engineering is a dying career field. All right, Andy, you kind of kick this off. Why is it dying?
So I run a network engineering podcast, right? And I haven't wanted to say it on that one.
So you're going to say it on mine?
It's like, hey, well, yours. No, but it's been something that's been on my mind for a while, right? I've been in tech about 15 years, networking for about 10. And I don't know, when I got in, I was really excited about it. It was a great career, a lot of growth, and I felt like, well, everything's connected to the network. We're always going to be networking. This is important. There was some statistic I saw when I was a cable guy, like the number of connected devices was almost like Moore's Law. Like it was like doubling every year. Like, oh, it's 5, it'll be 10, right? So I just looked at the growth of the network, and I'm like, wow, this is going to be a really great thing. And right before this episode, I think what kicked all this off is I said to you guys, like, I don't think today, 10 years ago, I would have told my kid, it's a great role, it's a great career, you should get in it. And I guess my experiences over the past 10 years or so, just I feel less and less like it's a good career. And I guess we can get into some of the whys, but I think that's the high level premise of, I'm not going to tell my kids to get an network engineer.
It's a pretty powerful statement. Remington, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like we were talking about it earlier as well, and similar, right? I got into the field, it was booming. There have been lots of eras in tech where networking is a booming component of what's happening, and it's really sort of been shrinking. And we have an internship program that we run, and when we do have interns that come, and we're glad to have them. We do have networking interns this year, which is great. But when we actually get into the nitty-gritty of what the network is supporting and how it functions and what it does, is when I see a lot of those folks kind of sort of tune out or turn off or not want to go into the field. They want to go into other, what seem like more glamorous or more interesting fields, cybersecurity, doing something with AI, those sorts of efforts. And so it really kind of struck in my mind that, like, when he said it, when Andy put this out there, I was like, I don't think that's accurate. And then I thought about it more and more. I was like, it does kind of match. Like, I really don't understand why we don't have more.
What if I told you I just spent the last 40 years working out where I'm at now? And all those things that you think are important when you're younger, perfect body, the big house, the perfect job, don't really matter. What really matters is what's going on inside you. And I'd like to share with you in the next few minutes what I've learned in the last 40 years. You might ask, where did this come from? Well, 2 years ago, I had to stop work. I'm medically retired now. And that has given me a lot of time to reflect on my life and where I am today, and what is important for me. And I started thinking, where did the time go? What have I achieved? I've done lots of jobs, from doing snow ski tours, to working in bars, to working in off license, and waitering, cooking, you name it, teaching art. I've done it. But what has been consistent all through my life has been my artwork, my ability to continue following that dream of mine. Not necessarily being financially successful, but doing something that is important to me, that shows who I am as a character and as a human being. And if I could go back in time and talk to my 18-year-old self, I would say the most important things in life for you is time and your health. In fact, I think I put my health above time, because if you haven't got a healthy life.
Amazing. Finally. Woo! All right. Huh. Okay. I'm gonna get some more coffee.
rid of my... I blame myself for like chasing the Aatrox. I should...
What's up, bro? What? What's up?
I think one of the things that's most important is that the Democratic Party is and must return to our roots as a working class party that centers everyday people and our most basic material needs.
Honestly, pretty crazy that tomorrow's already September, but as it's starting to feel like fall, the chill in the air.
These little creatures should be on air. What do you sell, Will? Oh, dude, you're about to get rich. Not hopefully, dude. What do you mean hopefully? Do you know that the financial industry makes more millionaires than any other business in the world? You're more likely to be rich son bitch in the financial business than any other business. And you said hopefully. Dude, it's all about up here. Do you or do you not think you can do it? And the answer is, well, yes, I can. Well, then, dude, the answer is yes. I'm getting rich right now. It's a fact.
Oh. Dude, yeah, look at Evil Inside. He knows.
I begged you guys not to do it. Pleaded even, and some of you listened, but most of you did not. Well, Neat
Wumbles presents the Parent of the Year Award.
I posted this picture on Instagram.
Oh, I missed that.
Whether it's spiders, ants, lice, or roaches, they all hate this stuff. And the crazy thing is, it's not even poison. This is first Saturday Alive, and this stuff will repel any insect that has an exoskeleton, like ants, lice, mites, roaches, and yes, spiders as well. But what's awesome is it's made of natural materials, so it's safe around pets and safe for organic gardening, which is really nice. It's super easy to use. All you gotta do is once a month, leave a 2-inch barrier all the way around your house.
Democrats, oftentimes when we lose elections, we think that we lost people to Trump. And that is true in circumstances, but they don't look enough at the fact that we also lost people to the couch. There is universal frustration in this country. Much of it, I actually think, justified. That is raging at a political establishment that centers corporate interests, billionaires, and puts their needs ahead of the needs of working Americans. Democrats, oftentimes when we lose elections,
Trick question. Don't care.
The United States has democracy, but China has everything else. Everyone, I've just returned from an epic 2-month journey through China.
Huh?
I had the pleasure of visiting
Yeah.
different cities and traveling from factories to trade shows and meeting with clients. And I have to tell you, the world is very different from what our media tells us every day. Did you know that our
Near rates, near rates, near rates. Need some real estate here.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day because I'm about to ruin it. Welcome to today's episode of How You're Getting Fucked. I'm your host, Louis Rossman, and today we're going to be discussing the downfall of the ability to install applications of your choosing on your computer. I'm going to be very careful with the vocabulary that I use in this video. I'm not using the word phone, I'm using the word computer. If we were still talking about things being measured in how many megabytes of RAM they had, megabytes of storage, that's one thing. This has over 8 gigabytes of RAM, a terabyte of storage, a graphics, it's a computer. And I'm also not going to be using words like sideload in this video. I don't like the word sideload. People use the word sideload to describe installing applications on their phone by using a file. When you download an exe file onto your Windows computer and you use that exe file to install an application, you've installed an application. You haven't sideloaded something. We call it sideloading on phones because we've become conditioned to the idea that you are not allowed to install applications on your phone unless they have been approved by the manufacturer. Even though you spent that almost $1,000 on the phone, you can't install what you want on it unless they say so. So by getting around the restrictions or by stepping to the side of the restrictions, sideload. I don't like that terminology. I installed an application on my computer. I'm allowed to install applications of my choice on my computer. Apple started to normalize this idea that you're not allowed to install applications that you want to install on your computer, and because people went along with it, we're now stuck with this. So this is an announcement from the Android developers blog. This is a surprise because for many years you were allowed to install any application of your choosing on your Android phone or tablet, and that's one of the things that separated it from iOS, along with things like having a micro SD card slot, a headphone jack, a removable battery. Yeah, this is so we're coming down to the final bastion of the differentiators between Apple and Google. A new layer of security for certified Android devices. You shouldn't have to choose between open and secure. By engineering security into the core part of the OS, Android has proven that you can have both, and we continue taking new steps in that direction. So they're saying that their analysis showed that there's over 50 times more malware from internet side-loaded sources than on apps available through Google Play, and the way that they're going to be fixing this is by requiring developers to verify themselves, which means paying a small fee and showing your ID, and Google can either accept or decline a developer based on them showing their ID. Now the problem...
They're just trying to get rid of fucking malware, dude. It's not that big of a deal. Man, I hate it when people blow shit out of proportion. Especially when it comes to Google, man. They're just doing their best.